Ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been more than a month, but we're finally back with another episode of Cherry versus Narry. I am, of course, still the longest reigning Wrestling Trivia Challenge champion in history at over 400 days, Greg Cherry.
And I'm the best friend of the longest reigning Wrestling Trivia champion. And that's pretty much it. But here I am.
Hey, former NWA East Tag Team Champion.
That is true.
And for a cup of coffee, the NWA East Three Rivers Champion. Give yourself some credit.
I did hold that for not even a cup of coffee, a sip of coffee.
Yeah, about a sip of coffee before you got helped.
I was screwed.
It's such a weird finish. Anyway. We're back to talk about some of the stuff post-WrestleMania, post-Superstar Shakeup. I know Rift covered some of it, but we want to delve a little more into some of it. And one of the big topics since WrestleMania, I know this is going to be something we argue about, is Sasha Banks. I know the tie-in with Bayley, but Bayley just got taken over to SmackDown. What is going to happen with Sasha Banks moving forward? We've seen all sorts of different reports. Some of them seem ridiculous. I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole Sasha thing?
I mean, I'm not going to believe everything I read on because some of those reports are just like ridiculous.
Ryan Satin too.
Yeah, there was the one they were like laying in the dressing room and pouting and stuff like that. Like, I mean, whatever, take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But I don't know. I do think she has a crappy attitude. I think she expects to be the main event when she should not be the main event or even close to the main event.
Oh boy.
But no, I mean, I think she'll be back. You know, they'll give her something. She'll be in some kind of feud, and she'll be back in probably like an extended absence. Figure like she takes like 2-3, maybe even a month off, 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month off, comes back and gets pushed into some kind of main storyline. But
I think a feud between her and Becky Lynch, depending on what brand she decides to stay on, would be a good thing.
Oh yeah,
I just read a report today that they're considering having Sasha actually compete and win Money in the Bank, which that's in just a couple weeks here. That would be very interesting. I think Sasha could really benefit from Money in the Bank because it could lead to a possible heel turn. And Sasha is in need of a character change so badly.
Absolutely.
Because the babyface run for Sasha was good in 2016. And you know me, I love Sasha. But it's kind of been bland, especially because they completely ruined the Sasha and Bayley feud last year.
Oh, the feud that lasted, 2 weeks?
If that. I don't think it didn't last a commercial break.
They teased it forever.
Bayley finally attacked Sasha, and then they sent him to counseling like 5 minutes later. It's like, wow, you have this hot angle, and you completely extinguish it.
Oh, absolutely. No, I will. You know that I'm not a huge Sasha fan.
I know.
But I absolutely agree with you. She would be a great candidate for Money in the Bank. Just the way her character is. I mean, you saw what it did for Carmella.
Oh, Carmella did wonders.
Carmella was, an afterthought, essentially. She was just like, she got called up out of nowhere from NXT. Didn't really have any marquee NXT matches that I can remember.
Not really.
She just kind of got called up. She was just like kind of with Enzo and Cass.
It's kind of the same with Alexa Bliss. I mean, she didn't really have any matches. She was with Blake and Murphy. And,
yeah.
I mean, she was decent in NXT, but then I actually kind of predicted Alexa Bliss's success on the main roster because the night that she got called up for the draft, I was like, that's going to be a big pick. And 5 women's championships later, I think I called that one.
Yeah, no. I mean...
So, little Horowitz pat on the back right there.
I think she was the first ever to win the SmackDown and the Raw, correct?
That's correct. She was.
All right.
And Charlotte was the second, Becky the third. But...
So, yeah, I mean, going back to the original point, like, I think not being a fan of Sasha Banks, as you know, And it's boss time.
My
Oh, good God, I can't stand that. It's my second Michael Coleism. My most hated Michael Coleism is when he refers to people being in the drop zone when they face Finn Balor.
Well, now he's on SmackDown, so we don't have to listen to that.
Thank God. Todd Phillips better never say drop zone. But no, Sasha Banks, I think, could definitely, just thinking about her, with the Money in the Bank briefcase, that at least gives her some time on the mic. That gives her, you know what I mean? And I'm not, like I said, we talked about it, I'm not a huge fan, but, I think if you give her a little bit of a character change, a little bit of an edge, that could be a way to actually rebuild her to, back to the main event level.
Exactly. Yeah, and one of my big points is people are like, oh, Sasha's not that great on the mic, Sasha's not that great in the ring, and blah, 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 blah. How many people have already forgotten about her time in NXT? Like, she and Bayley, especially Sasha's entire title run with the NXT Championship, she was freaking fantastic. She was good. She had a great match with Becky Lynch at a takeover, and then, of course, the classics with Bayley. And even the Fatal 4-Way, she won the title with all
the way she won the title was so smart, too. It was just different. Wear her out with a submission and then roll her up. You never see that.
Yeah, it was a little different. I was like, okay. I mean, she won the title, so I was happy. But I don't know. I think Money in the Bank, some people disagree, obviously. Nobody's going to have the same opinion. I think the only shared opinion across the wrestling universe is that the Viking Experience is a terrible name.
Yeah.
I think it's completely unanimous that it's a god-awful name for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing we agree with. All right. Next thing, moving on from Sasha Banks, is who will benefit from the Superstar Shakeup. We've seen a bunch of people move to Raw. Some people move to SmackDown. We've seen the NXT call-ups officially land on their specific brands. So who is going to benefit the most out of this? Somebody who moved to Raw, somebody who moved to SmackDown, or somebody who stayed on their brand? Could they benefit from the moves?
I went first last time. I want you to go first this time.
All right, I'll go first this time. I think Finn Balor will definitely benefit from moving over to SmackDown. I hate to say it, I can't believe they didn't move Strowman. But once they moved, especially with the tease that they have with Strowman and Joe, which apparently Joe's moving to Raw, and it's just kind of going to happen.
I mean, according to Dave Meltzer,
plans changed.
Yeah.
The fact that they did not move Strowman to SmackDown, which is where I thought they were going with that, is kind of mind-boggling because Strowman on Raw, I think, is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we discussed this last time with Strowman feuding with the Saturday Night Live guys. The fact that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal came down to Strowman, Colin Jost, and Michael Che was just a testament of how poorly they booked Strowman and, quite frankly, everybody in that Battle Royal.
Mm-hmm.
It was so bad.
One thing that may benefit Strowman on Raw now is the fact that the Universal title will be on Raw every week.
I don't even know if he's ready for that. I think it's.
Oh, I don't know if he is or not, but I just think they'll at least have some kind of direction. Possibly. I think Rollins and Strowman could. Let's face it, Rollins can put on a good match with anybody.
Yeah.
So, the whole, David versus Goliath thing with Strowman, plus you got AJ Styles on Raw. There's plenty of guys that can help out, make Strowman look good.
Well, Joe will hopefully be one of them. I think that will benefit Strowman the most is a possible U.S. title feud because he needs something after WrestleMania. Yeah, he won the Battle Royal, big deal. But his series of matches with Lesnar and just his entire booking since he won Money in the Bank last year was Bayley level bad.
Yeah, it was terrible. And he was a face, and then he was a heel just for a Saudi Arabia show or whatever. Was that the Australia show?
Yeah, that was the Australia show.
That was the Australia show. They turned him heel just for that, and then he lost all his momentum.
Oh yeah.
All his momentum.
And then they had a Hell in a Cell go to a no contest, which what?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
Exactly.
if
Then it's not hell in a cell. It's
no.
just purgatory in a cell. Or a bad day in a cell.
A DMV in a cell. I don't know. What is who's booking this that you say, hey, we're gonna have a no contest at Hell in a Cell? It's like those guys better be like dead and stretchered out, like both of them falling off the top of the cell and dead. But
yeah, I mean, and that's happened before. Remember when Ambrose and Rollins both fell, and they were both starting to be stretchered out, and then they came back.
that was the beginning
Ambrose
of the
jumped.
match.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the match. They like beat the hell out of each other, and then I mean, the match continued. That
Yeah.
was so weird. That's the thing with Lesnar, though. The way they book, like, how many no contests has Lesnar wrestled?
Well, Lesnar
Like,
wasn't even in that match. It
oh,
was,
that's right. He just came down at the
yeah,
end.
he just came down and beat them up with something.
That's what I'm.
Part of
Okay.
a table, and apparently that was enough to like kill them both.
Yeah.
It was such a
That was
booking.
what may help Strowman with. It doesn't matter, being on Raw or being on SmackDown. Just like a feud with Joe. Joe actually is believable to be a threat to Strowman,
Yeah,
unlike other guys. So, like, I mean, they have to have Strowman look a little vulnerable.
hmm
Like, I mean, have Joe choke him out.
yeah.
If Joe chokes him out, like that's gonna help him gain momentum. Like you want
And
to
he
see,
just took Lesnar out,
yeah,
so why not do it with Strowman?
have him choke Strowman out like on Raw. Like that would be great for Strowman and kind of help build him back up. Something needs something to care about with him. Not like, hey, like what are we gonna smash this week?
Yeah, I mean the whole flipping things has gotten kind of old, which
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't seem like it would be because it is kind of cool. But the fact that he's doing it so much is like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
we've seen this already.
Just throwing random people. Who did the EC3?
Yeah,
I don't know who he pissed off, but
I don't know, but maybe he'll be like back in the form of like decent storylines by post SummerSlam time frame. I don't know. Um, as far as the women go, who do you think is going to benefit the most out of this shakeup?
Okay. I'm gonna take a shot here. I think Liv Morgan being separated from the Riot Squad could be really good for her.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't been able to see much of her,
Right.
and I think that, okay, Ruby Riot is pretty decent. I mean, no complaints. She's not at world champion level yet, but she's solid.
Yeah.
Sarah Logan had a great showing in the women's battle royal at Mania.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
Sure.
actually kind of surprised it wasn't her that moved off on her own. But I mean, it just like I don't know if she's going to benefit or not. I think she's given an opportunity, essentially, is what I'm saying. Like she gets to go off, break from the Riot Squad, and we get to see what she can do.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's given a legit chance. Kairi Sane, whatever. She can. I don't like being paired with Asuka, but I do like that Kairi Sane is on the main roster. There was nothing left for her in NXT.
No.
So I am glad that she's up on the main roster. Like I said, I don't really like just throwing, her and Asuka together. It doesn't make much sense. Asuka.
It could work.
It could work, but I don't know. I just like Asuka being a threat to the women's championship.
Yeah, but her entire run as SmackDown Women's Champion was probably about as bad as her last year after she lost to Charlotte. So
No, absolutely, yeah.
So
I guess I should just be happy that she got the title because she deserved it.
Yeah.
So they may have booked it terribly, but she at least goes in the books as being a world champion in a reign. I can be happy with that.
Yep. And she main evented a pay-per-view in what was a really fantastic TLC match.
Mm-hmm.
As far as the women go, I think Bayley will actually benefit a lot
Moving
over to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a slow burn heel turn is in the works for her. She, along with Sasha, both need it. Obviously, they won't be teammates because they're on separate brands. But I think Bailey could use the heel turn more. I don't know if he'll be going against Becky at some point because I guess anybody who goes against Becky at this point is a heel. Um, but she did get booed when she came out in Montreal, and perhaps like they'll take notice of that. It's not the first time she's been booed. I'm not sure if that's because of all the rumors with the attitude problems or whatever, or if it's just because it's like we're kind of sick of Bailey now. I don't know which one it was.
Well, the great thing that they have with the women's division right now too is that Becky Lynch is so hot.
Yeah.
I mean that is over. I'm not a pervert, but she's so hot right now that anybody that they want to turn heel, just boom, attack Becky Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
They can do the old Sting treatment from back in WCW. Anybody you wanted to turn heel, just have them attack Sting, and the fans will instantly hate them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and so they have that going for them. So to set up anything, which would help, a number of people.
Yeah, it's literally anybody who came out to talk to Becky Lynch, whether it be Natalya, Ember Moon, Bailey, all of them got booed because they were insulting Becky. It's like, jeez.
Yeah, I mean everybody.
I mean, Becky Lynch is hot right now, and yes, she is beautiful, objectively. So just clear that up. I'm married, I'm not dead. But yeah, I do think Bailey will benefit a lot from the move to SmackDown, even though Sasha doesn't like it. I think it'll be very good for her. Next up on our list to talk about.
Did you want to talk about tag teams, or are we good?
Well, we can talk about tag teams. I mean, some tag teams got split up. As we saw, you mentioned the Riot Squad earlier. Chad Gable and Bobby Roode broke up.
Yes.
Sanity completely fell apart. I mean,
yeah,
Eric Young went to Raw, Killian Dane's on SmackDown, and Alexander Wolf is leaving, apparently.
Yeah.
So it's all sorts of clustered.
No, I was trying to think. I mean, obviously the Usos, it doesn't matter where they are. They're going to be at the top of the tag division.
Usos are not on Raw.
Usos and Revival could put on a 30-minute classic if given the time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that might be the thing that benefits the Revival is if they get into a feud with the Usos, especially if – I don't know who's going to take the titles from Hawkins and Ryder, which is weird to say in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, it may be the Viking Experience. They may take it from them. and you know what? Sarah Logan's married to Ray Rose, so they might throw her in there. And a trio type thing.
And I'll tell you what, the Viking Experience and the Usos could have a great tag match, too.
Oh, they could. I mean, the War Raiders, I'm calling them that because the Viking Experience is a ridiculous name. Hanson and Rowe, they had a great match with Aleister Black and Ricochet at TakeOver.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that match was great.
And the thing is, they're still...
Black and Ricochet are still on Raw, right?
Yeah, Black and Ricochet are still on Raw.
I thought they were still on Raw.
Where was I going with that? They had a great match at TakeOver. They're still the NXT Tag Team Champions, though, so they'll either have to relinquish the titles or keep defending them, which they'll probably lose them at the next TakeOver or something. They might not. They might go with this thing as like, hey, they're on Raw. They're the NXT Tag Team Champions, though, and they keep successfully defending them, making them even more badass of a team. Maybe that's their plan. I don't know.
I don't know. That'd be cool. That'd be different.
I think, though, if they get called the Viking Experience in NXT, they're going to get the crap boot out of them.
No, they'll be the War Raiders in NXT, but on Raw, they'll be the Viking Experience.
And just confuse everybody.
They'll start wearing masks one of the places.
Yeah. You know, everybody in the NXT crowd is going to be like, war, 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 war.
Experience.
Gosh.
Oh, just a terrible name. Can't talk. But yeah, I forgot Rude and Gable. That's another one I was thinking about. I didn't write my stuff down this week. I think Rude is gonna. Well, I think they'll both benefit from being split up actually, as long as they don't just keep throwing Chad Gable in some random tag team with somebody.
Poor Chad Gable.
Like, just give him a singles run of something, you know.
I mean, it's unfortunate that they split him up from Jason Jordan, who probably can't even wrestle anymore anyway now because of his back injury. But it's like, give Gable a chance to shine. He can put on great matches. He's a great worker, and he's a funny guy too. It's like give him something that works for him.
Yeah, just see what he can do. You got 3 hours. Throw him in a match here and there.
He might be a modern day Kurt Angle. You don't know if he can like hang with Angle being a goof, but give him a shot.
Well,
right.
Absolutely.
So we talked about the NXT call-ups because there weren't actually any additional call-ups from the Heavy Machinery, Lars Sullivan, EC3, and all them.
Yeah.
And we briefly touched on this earlier, who our picks for Money in the Bank this year would be. And will it actually benefit anybody? Because you figure Alexa Bliss cashed in hers right away, and Strowman had quite possibly the lamest cash-in the history of the briefcase. So is this gimmick dead? Is the Money in the Bank gimmick dead? Or is this going to be the year that it actually benefits somebody?
I don't think it's dead as much as it's reached its peak. Like Edge obviously like made Money in the Bank essentially what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, everybody associates. I mean, he had like probably the second best cash in the first time he cashed in.
Right.
But when Rollins cashed in at Mania, that was like the best, like biggest surprise, send everybody home happy. Well, I guess not necessarily happy, but excited. You know, you just saw, like, you weren't expecting that.
No.
And so I feel like it's reached its peak, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's dead. Like, I mean, there's a lot of things they can do. They don't always have to go to that opportunist. Like, I mean, Rob Van Dam cashed in on Cena in the ECW arena.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, I don't know if off the top, I'm trying to think of like who could possibly win it. Like, can they pick this? They could probably pick the stipulation, you know? I mean, throwing this out there, if Jeff Hardy wins it, he could challenge in a ladder match.
Yeah.
And that, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, they could really have fun with it or make it interesting if they just kind of break away from the opportunist surprise cash-in that we're so accustomed to seeing, which granted is most of the intrigue about the Money in the Bank. Like, oh, when's it going to cash in? Going to cash in. But then when you see guys like Corbin cash in and then just get rolled up, like, I mean, you're excited when they cash in, whether you like the guy or not. Yeah. It's an exciting, you know, you're like pumped. Oh, you know, we're going to see a title change or a title match. And then,
I would, not to interrupt you, but I would kind of want Corbin to win the Money in the Bank this year just for redemption and actually win the championship he's competing for, because his first cash in was beyond ridiculous. It's kind of like if EC3 would have won it with his booking now. It's like, what? Why? Why would you completely waste the Money in the Bank? Because now you have to wait another year, and they actually outdid themselves, and Braun's cash-in was worse.
Yeah, it was terrible. No, I'd like to see somebody like, and I mean, I'm not saying I necessarily want Bray Wyatt to win, but I think they could do a lot with Bray Wyatt as Money in the Bank. He could challenge. I mean, he's still on Raw, right? As far as we know, I guess we don't know.
Cash in against whoever they want. So.
Oh, that's true. So I mean, he could cash in against, you know, Kofi in a House of Horrors match.
Oh,
like, think of the excitement. Think of the excitement.
We're already talking about enough bad stuff happening. We don't need to relive that crap.
Matt Hardy could cash in a Broken Universe match or whatever.
That would be okay, because that was fun.
I mean, I don't know. I just think that's the direction you have to go with it. Maybe for a year, just to like reset it.
Yeah.
You know, because I mean, it did get to the point where every time someone won the Money in the Bank, you knew they were going to win the title. So now they've kind of changed that. You know, you don't know, but it would be nice that if they could kind of reset it and make it stipulation based rather than, try to catch people off guard and then them just lose anyway.
Right. I think, and this is the way I would book myself if I were to ever win the Money in the Bank. I would pitch this and be like, hey, TLC, whatever the main event is, the TLC match for either the WWE Universal Championship, have both competitors at the top of the ladder. You run in, shove the ladder over, send the guys through tables, cash in Money in the Bank, walk up the ladder and take the title. You literally did nothing to earn the championship. You didn't beat either one of them. So both the guys look strong. You look like a snake in the grass, but you're champion, so it's okay. It's like that, I think, would be the best cash-in.
That would be a great cash-in. They don't even necessarily have to, he doesn't even have to push the ladder over.
Well,
if both guys do a huge spot, like a superplex off the ladder,
yeah,
or something, and then just run in, and you don't even have to touch anybody, push anything over, just climb up. Dude, Hornswoggle could win the title that way.
If you shove them from the top of the ladder to the outside through tables, it's like you did the work of doing that. It's like then you cash in. It's like, okay, I'm the champion now. Haha, you guys beat each other up for 20 minutes for nothing. So suck it. That's how I see it.
No, a ladder match would be a really good cash in, actually.
Because you don't have to pin anybody. You don't have to make anybody submit. All you have to do is climb the ladder and win it. I'm surprised nobody's done that yet in the near 15 years that the Money in the Bank's been around.
Now, my official Money in the Bank prediction is that Elias wins it, and he just walks out and plays guitar during every championship match for months, and then doesn't win when he cashes in.
Besides the Rumble, when was the last time he actually competed in a match?
Didn't he? He just wrestled on Raw or something a week ago.
Oh, yeah, I guess he did wrestle against Jarrett on Raw. But
yeah,
he's just been doing the guitar gimmick, like getting beat up by people.
Yeah.
I don't know. If I had to predict a men's Money in the Bank winner, I mean, who do you go with?
I mean, I would say Big E. That would make it interesting, but he's probably not going to be back.
Yeah. Give it to Xavier. That'd be interesting.
And then he could challenge Kofi in a video game. They could play the video game for the title, and the winner gets the actual.
I don't know if you want to challenge Kofi to that. Kofi might beat him. I know Woods has the channel, but Kofi is really freaking good at video games too. So
do that live on the Tron.
Live on Up, Up, Down, Down.
That's right.
Official WWE Championship match. I don't know. I kind of want to go with Corbin. Like, I know this, like, people's like, oh, I hate Corbin. It's like, I've always liked Corbin. I'm a weird one. I don't care.
I will give you that. You have.
I've supported Corbin just like I've supported Sasha. You know, my allegiances stay true. I don't turn my back on them.
See, I don't completely detest Corbin, but I'm not a huge fan of his.
He's got the best finishers in the game.
He does have the best finisher. It's good, and I do like that he's starting to use Deep Six as like a finisher.
Deep Six is so sweet looking.
Because I mean, now if he's in a big match, whenever someone kicks out of it,
yeah,
it actually is a false finish and not just everybody always kicks out of that.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, nobody's ever kicked out of the end of days.
I don't think anybody should.
No, nobody should. It's kind of like the punt. Nobody ever kicked out of that either.
The finisher is awesome.
Oh, yeah, it's absolutely awesome. But, yeah, Corbin's my men's pick. And like I said earlier, I think Sasha is my women's pick if she does, in fact, come back. So, I mean, we'll see. If Sasha does not come back by Money in the Bank, I might have to give it to Bayley and let her run with it.
Yeah, they gave it to Carmella, and then they gave it to
Bliss.
I'm drawing a blank. There it is. So they had somebody who's never won the title, and they've had somebody who was an established champion.
Yep.
So they really could go either way.
Yeah. I mean, somebody like a Sonya Deville would be cool with a Money.
Oh, I like Sonya Deville.
Yeah, I do too. I've been a fan of Sonya since she came out. So she could definitely benefit from it. But
Or so,
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know if they plan on call. I don't think they're calling anybody else up. I was gonna say I would really like to see Shayna Baszler and Becky have a feud.
That might be post SummerSlam. I think Baszler's gonna hold on to that title for a long time. As she should. I mean, she's the
Oh, she's
best.
good.
She's the best heel in NXT, not named Tommaso Ciampa, but
Hmm.
Ciampa.
Oh, definitely. She's
Or,
good. She's like top three women heels, if not
absolutely.
higher. Maybe
She,
Charlotte.
she's so
Charlotte won. Her too.
she's so good. She's what Ronda Rousey probably should have been.
Hmm.
Like the
Absolutely.
actual badass persona and kicking everybody's ass. And yeah, Baszler's actually better than Ronda, in my opinion. So the last thing we're going to talk about, is it a good thing or a bad thing that Kevin Owens is a babyface? Simple question. What do you think?
I think it's an entertaining thing. I like him being the new Big E in the New Day. That was really funny to me.
Yeah,
Um, I think, I mean, obviously the heel turn's coming. Like it's Kevin Owens.
right.
That's what he does. Like he's literally turned heel on everybody he's been friends with. And
That's true.
so it's coming, and I think that's another one. They can string it out, or
Mm.
they could do it immediate, and it can just happen at any time. And I think it's good for now because of the impending heel turn.
I don't want him to turn heel. At least not for a while, because he literally just came back as a babyface 2 months
Hmm.
ago. So I think they should run with this. I think they should run with a babyface Kevin Owens. I was kind of hoping him and Zayn would be on the same brand to do the face Owens against heel Zayn dynamic, because it'd be something
Okay,
different.
yeah, that'd be
Um,
different.
I don't know. I kind of want to see babyface Owens last longer. I think they only did that bit with the New Day because they were in Montreal, and Owens isn't going to turn heel in Montreal. So
No,
I,
no. I
I don't
mean,
know. As much as I'd like to see Owens versus Kofi for the title, I don't want to see him turn heel yet.
I I don't really know when I'd want to see him turn heel, I guess. Like I wouldn't be necessarily upset if it was a long baby face run or if it was a short one. Like I really have no stake in that. I just think the one of the exciting aspects of him being a baby face is the impending heel turn.
I mean, that's really any babyface. You can look at it that way. But Kevin Owens is just so good
He
and
is.
so entertaining at whatever he does. So I kind of want to see him get back to his sarcastic Kevin Owens persona, because 2015, 2016 timeframe, he was pure gold as a
Hmm.
heel. So I think that could work even better as a babyface.
And maybe that's kind of his I mean, obviously, like we know, like McMahon is okay with Kevin Owens.
Right.
I mean, not only was he Universal Champion, but McMahon doesn't let just anybody beat him up.
Yeah.
That's huge. And so, I mean, recently, there's been AJ Styles with the punch in the back on the. Was that even on SmackDown, or was that
Yeah.
just like a WWE com exclusive?
I don't know.
That was weird. But obviously Reigns with the Superman punch recently, and then back when Reigns won the title off Sheamus, they had that thing, and then there's like Owens, like that's it. McMahon, so obviously sees something big in him. Maybe he just wants to see how far this babyface Owens can ride.
I think it could do really well. I think it was just a one-off, the thing with the New Day, and if it's not, then it'll probably lead to something. But I think it was just a one-off for the purposes of they wanted to have a fun main event in Montreal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it lasting any more than a week, because they announced him as an honorary member of the New Day, so I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing.
No, that makes sense. I mean, plus there's only I mean, so many matches you can do with Like Kofi's champion now. Eventually, he's gonna have to have one-on-one matches. Is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah,
It can't just
eventually.
be 6-man tags and tag teams every week.
Yeah, and all the SmackDown champions, I believe, are baby faces, so it's not Owens isn't gonna get into a feud unless they go with a babyface thing or he turns heel. So it all depends on what they want to do with it. It's pretty cut and dry episode of Cherry versus Narry. Not a whole lot to talk about, but some interesting discussion points. What do you guys want to see on the show? I know I'm doing my live streams, and eventually Wrestling Trivia Challenge is going to come back, but we would like some more feedback from you guys, what you guys want us to talk about on the shows. Because obviously these shows aren't anything without you guys. And we only get together once a month, or we try to do this.
We just took March off because the WWE takes March off too.
Ooh, rough. Plus, I was preparing for my Iron Man match, which, if you haven't seen that yet, go check it out.
That was good. That was exciting. I think my favorite part of it was just Rift being like completely. I don't know. There were two things about Rift that cracked me up during that episode. No spoilers. But number one, just being amazed that you two were answering everything. Like just his reactions were cracking me up. And also the fact that he tried to say that he was exhausted. It's like, dude, you're reading the questions.
Yeah.
That's like the ump in a baseball game saying, like, you know what, guys, I need a break.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
I'm kidding.
Out of all the questions that we were asked, we only missed 3 collectively, not counting the skips. 3 out of an hour.
Yeah, that was nuts. It was just boom, 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 boom.
Shot for shot, man. It was ridiculous.
It made it exciting, though, because once one of you missed it, and you caught up, and I mean, that was back and forth the entire way.
Oh,
I thought at one point somebody was going to pull away, and I don't think it really happened until like the final 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, it didn't happen until the final few minutes.
Maybe even 5 minutes. Oh, it was good.
Yeah, it was
definitely good.
Tight till the end. But mentioning my live streams, I have this lovely little thing, which you've seen on them. The Wheel of Pensen, as I like to call it. And nobody's won a shirt off this wheel yet. I want to eventually give away some of my shirts on this. And I don't know if this is going to go up before my live stream on the 19th. I'm hoping it is. But I'm doing half-price spins. So hopefully it goes up before then.
Oh, there you go.
This tonight. So maybe that'll entice more people to... I actually lose money in that deal. But it'll get people to get my shirts, and then I can upload more designs.
There you go.
So, any plugs for you, T-Fame?
No, if you feel like follow me on Twitter, I'm at T-Fame. That's it.
That's it.
I got nothing exciting going on.
That sounds like me anymore. You can follow me on Twitter, of course, at PA Sensation. Go to ProWrestlingTees.com/PA Sensation. Pick up one of these shirts or join me on the live stream and try and win one. Either way, you're supporting me, and I can make more shirts so that all of you can enjoy it. That's the goal. Or something like that. I don't make much off the shirts. But until next time, for the former NWA East Tag Team Champion Travis Narry, I am the current, the longest reigning, and the greatest of all time Wrestling Trivia Challenge Champion, Greg Cherry. And we will see you next time on Cherry versus Narry.